Hello everyone and welcome to Kitchen Talk with Sam. My name is Samantha from Confidence and Style, and I'm so excited to be here for the first of many videos to come, where I introduce you to empowering independent women who are really leaving their mark on the communities and industries they're involved with, whether that is fashion, health and wellness, business, and anything in between. I plan on diving into their career paths, learning a little bit more about their journey, gain some expert tips and advice, and learn about their road to self-confidence, all in the hopes of empowering those who are watching in the process. And today, I have the amazing opportunity to introduce you to one of those incredible women, and that is Mimi Levine. Mimi has been working in the fashion PR industry for many years when she decided to take the leap of faith and open her own PR, marketing, and events company. She's a prime example of what it means to be empowering, independent, confident, and overall a boss woman. So stick around, I cannot wait to introduce you to Mimi, learn a little bit more about her journey, and hopefully empower you along the way. Hi Mimi, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Sam. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you because you are someone that I honestly look up to. You are a businesswoman, super successful, and the best confident personality ever. So I'm so excited to have you learn more about your journey and your career path. But today we are in the kitchen because we learned recently that we both have a similar passion for cooking. And not only do you cook, but you also compete.
Yes.
So today we're making Mimi's famous macaroni and cheese recipe, which I am so excited to try.
Yes, we've dubbed it $1 Million Mac and Cheese because every Thanksgiving when my mom shops for it, she says she just goes bankrupt. I like sharp, delicious, nice cheeses. So.
Well, I am very excited to try it. So let's dive in. I can't wait to ask you a few questions and start making this.
Awesome.
Okay, so where do we begin?
Well, we're going to start by grating the cheese.
Okay.
Which, if you have an amazing food processor, totally quick, but this is quiet, so we can talk.
Okay, perfect. So how in the world do you have time to compete and cook while running your own business?
Well, first of all, running my own business has actually given me so much flexibility that, I mean, when I don't have to come home at like 7, 8 o'clock, I can actually do so much more, which is great. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm not always answering my phone or answering my emails on vacation, which, you know, shout out to my friends out there who have been on vacation with me while I'm answering my phone. But, you know, it's really given me the flexibility to come do stuff like this during the day or travel, which is amazing. And I work with clients in all different time zones. So really just, you know, we just keep it moving always. And also cooking is actually my calm, happy place. So like when I get home and I'm craving something, like it makes me happy to make it.
That's so funny because some people hate it, and I find it to be so calming, so relaxing after a long day at work. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I think baking is a little more daunting to me after work. Like having to follow a recipe would be harder than just like cooking. And you'll see like I'm not using any measuring cups or anything here. Like that's why I love to cook.
So should I put this in the water?
Yeah, that's gonna go for just 5 minutes. We're gonna just cook the pasta very little because it's gonna cook again in the oven.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in right now. So I want to hear more about how your career started, how you got into the fashion PR industry, and then eventually, started your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always wanted to be in fashion since I was little. And actually, my junior year of high school, my mom got tickets to Fashion Week for my 16th birthday and through our school auction. And when asking the head of the upper school if she could take me out of the second week of junior year for a whole week, he looked at us and he went, yeah, I think that would be good for Mimi. And we had the best week of our lives, and I always knew I wanted to be in fashion. I wasn't really ever, I don't think I was going to be a designer. I'm not super artistic, but I have a vision, and I've always been a communicator. And, you know, my parents will tell you I've always been a communicator. And so when I was in college, I took PR and like communications courses, but interned at like the major glossy magazines in Charleston, which was really fun. And I got to be a part of Charleston Fashion Week, which was, you know, kind of a big deal for the small town we were in, but much smaller scale than New York Fashion Week. I actually graduated during just the economic crash of 2008, and there was just no way I was getting a job. So to my parents' chagrin, I went off to Denver for
Denver.
Yeah, I had after graduation I had spent what I call a lost summer in Boulder. It was just a lot of fun, really, and we were chasing that fun summer, I guess, and moved to Denver. My dad luckily was like, "Why don't you sign a 6-month lease instead of a 1-year lease?" And at the end of 6 months, we were more than ready to come home. And then from there, I did PR for a software startup, actually.
Oh wow! So
and
not even starting in the fashion industry.
No, you know, I sent so many resumes, and that back in the day, that was like email and snail mail resumes to people.
I'm washing my hands real quick before I can help you out.
So it was definitely tough to break in. So I did PR for a software startup, and after about almost 2 years there, I saved up some money and I said I'm moving to New York and this is what I'm doing. I took a freelance / internship with a large fashion production company and worked in New York Fashion Week, which was amazing. But from there, I got a job in-house at Ted Baker doing PR and marketing. And I was part of a 2-person team. It was actually there were 2 people on the West Coast and 2 people on the East Coast. PR and marketing team for all of North America for Ted Baker. And it was really fun because I think all of us would agree we had the opportunity to build a department around ourselves.
Right.
Which someone often as an assistant might not get that opportunity. And we formed a really close-knit team. And we did a lot of fun, funky, cool events. And I felt
What are some events that you were able to do?
Well, it was just super guerrilla style, and so everything we did, was like there was a cool partnership or something. I remember one time we had a store in Boston, and there was a hotel opening in Boston, the Revere Hotel, and we partnered with them to do a vertical fashion show where we had climbers scale the side of the hotel.
Oh my god!
In our fashions, and basically they walked down the side of the hotel and onto a runway.
That's crazy.
It was insane, and we did so many fun things like that. I remember we did this client event the same night across the country, and here in New York, our DJ didn't show up with speakers. And I'm trying to think about how many.
That's interesting. A DJ doesn't show up with speakers?
Honestly. It was a whole thing. So I had to get across town to the West Side Highway and back before this event started in the middle of rush hour. And I took a pedicab. It was $400 and so fast. And everyone was like, "Great job."
I feel like in the fashion industry in general, it's all about just being on top
just
of
be
it,
fast.
ready for anything.
We'll spend money, just be fast.
Yes. Okay. What can I help you with? Anything else?
Yes. So we need to drain this pasta.
Oh,
it's
already
only going to cook
That's
for 5
fast.
minutes because
Okay.
it's going to cook in the oven again.
Got it. So from there, how long were you in the industry until you started off?
So
going
from
out
there,
on
I started at Ted Baker as an assistant. Thank you so much for the assist. And I really kind of wanted to learn this industry inside out. And so from there, I took an agency job. And I went to an agency that was trying to kind of revamp and start up the fashion side. They were historically a beauty agency. And I went there, and kind of around the same time, they won a lot of big beauty clients. And I wasn't super inspired by the fashion clients I was working on. I was at this agency for almost 4 years, and in that time had the most incredible experiences. I was also doing major programming and social media programming for some huge brands like Garnier and Soap and Glory, going to festivals like Bonnaroo with a bunch of influencers and having super great time. I was once at an event with Maybelline as Gigi Hadid's handler, and Kanye was there, and Anna Wintour, and honoring Christian Louboutin. So I had some amazing experiences there. But as I gained more and more experience and met more and more people on the fashion side, I felt I didn't have the clients to support it, and I had a lot of cool small brands reaching out to me wanting to do PR, but they really couldn't afford the agency price tag, and I didn't feel like those brands needed a team of 3 people to be working on them. So they didn't need to be paying $10,000 a month for an agency price tag. So based on some of the conversations I've had and the interests that I scene out there, I decided to kind of branch off and start freelancing essentially and working with some of these small brands that really just needed the manpower of one person, and didn't need to be paying for the overhead of an agency.
Right.
And it has been really fun and really lucrative and freeing. And I have clients that really listen to my point of view and are able to learn and pivot from what I have to share.
So since starting your company, have there been struggles, triumphs, like any major things that have gone on that have like gotten you to this point?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's been like crazy intense. I'm lucky that for the most part I have clients that pay me on time, which is a huge issue with freelancers that I really I get, and I've helped a lot of friends through that. Luckily that has not been the case. There are definitely times where my clients slowed down last year and I started panicking, like is it forever going to be slow? And then everything always has picked up again. About 50% of my clients are my clients when I started. So it's a great feeling. I know they love me and love working with me. So this year, when I come through the same things, I've just kind of breathed through it.
And how is it gaining new clients? What's your process? And is there anyone in specific you would love to work with?
Yeah, so to be honest, it's been mostly word of mouth. I work with 2 agencies. So their clients are always kind of in flux and coming in and out. So there has been a bit of turnover in that sense through the agencies. And then with the direct clients I work with, I mean, I just try to fit everything in like a puzzle. I don't want to be doing PR for the same kind of product, but I'd love to be doing it for products that go together. It's lovely when I have enough clients to make a whole outfit, for example. That's the dream for me, especially with fashion. So I've also been dabbling kind of in the wellness universe also. And I work with Ashley Borden from Revenge Body on E!
Love that show. We love Chloe.
Love Chloe. Love Ashley. And she's the first time I've really done PR for a person that wasn't, I've done founder stories and things like that. But she's been great, and then I can also kind of work with clients in the health and wellness space and in activewear. So I love just when my clients fit together like that.
Are there any niches that you haven't dived into that you want to in the future?
So I did work with a bakery for a short time,
wow.
And I was able actually to get them a great piece with the New York Times, which is awesome. Unfortunately, as everything in New York, the opening was so delayed that it was hard to kind of continue working together, which is another, it's a small budget thing, where you don't have enough to kind of keep someone going until you're ready. And I would love to do more food. I sometimes feel like PR is so who you know, and I haven't worked with a ton of people in food, so I always am thinking of how could I get in there,
right?
Because I don't know that I would want to do food product as much as a restaurant. I'd love an excuse to go to a restaurant. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Oh my god, you can take me if you
I guess what I'm saying is I'd love to be able to write off all my meals.
That sounds incredible. So basically, as you were saying, because it's so hard to be on your own and budget-wise, what are some things that you have to kind of get over and hurdle over being on your own as opposed to working at a big company?
Sure. So first of all, benefits. You gotta pay for your own benefits, which is a lot. One thing I do really well and very methodically that a lot of people don't do is every single check I receive, I put 35% into a different account.
That's very
because
smart.
that people get hit with huge. I mean, when you get a $10,000 tax bill, it's not that big of a deal when it's sitting in another account, and it's a huge deal when you've spent all the money you've made and realize that you owe $10,000. And so that luckily hasn't hit me because I have a great accountant and I do stuff like that. Don't try to do your taxes yourself. Know your strengths,
Right.
Why?
So as someone who's trying to start their own business and become an entrepreneur, what are some additional advice or tips that you have for them?
I take really great notes. And then I also, it's really important to manage expectations, in my opinion. When you're working as one person, you don't have an entire team behind you where you can call in favors and, see who has relationships where. So it's really important. I mean, it's always important to go beyond what you know and try to meet new people and try to do new things that you've never done before.
Right.
But managing those expectations, you know, I've definitely had to have a lot of tough conversations with clients when when they kind of share something that they feel is really newsworthy. It's important for me to always ask them, like, I understand why this is important to you, but we need to communicate why this is important to everyone,
right,
and why someone should write about it. And it's definitely a struggle with smaller, niche clients who see brands that explode, like Allbirds and things like that explode, and kind of say, why can't we do that? And sometimes you can, and sometimes there's real differences, and it's important to always be honest and manage expectations. And for me, that's been really empowering, because before I was a part of a team, there was an agency owner that had all these conversations, and now I'm kind of doing it myself.
Right, which is incredible.
Which is like a whole different ball game. But I've been able to pull some really fun things out of my hat, and made people really happy, and learn tough lessons too. And sometimes it's made me maybe a little more risk adverse. When I feel I've done something that hadn't worked that well for a client in the past, I'm much more hesitant to take on a similar client in the future, which is some of the fun of being backed by someone, which
right,
I don't have. But definitely managing expectations is very important, I think, and it protects you.
Right. All right, so what should we do next?
Okay, let's move over to the stove.
Okay, perfect.
It's time to get going.
Okay, perfect.
On the cheese sauce.
I'm very excited about this.
So, whole stick of butter, or almost a whole stick of butter.
Perfect. Wow. We're going all out. So
we're going in.
Cheat day.
We're going in, okay? This is, the butter is making a roux, so it's basically what's going to be thickening the sauce. So we're adding about equal parts flour, but as you'll notice, I really don't measure anything. So we're basically making a bechamel. So we want to stir it so there are no lumps in this, and no lumps of flour.
Very fancy.
Make a lot of noise. And then we're going to wait on that for a minute, because we're going to let the flour cook a little bit.
Okay.
Flour can actually have a raw taste. So, this is the start of gumbo. And basically, like, that dark flavor in gumbo means that they just cook this even longer until it turns like.
And how did you learn how to cook? Like, where did this passion come from? I mean, I wanted to be a chef since I was could remember.
Yes.
And I actually went to cooking camp.
I love that. I mean, for me, honestly, I watch the Food Network all the time. I loved it. And I don't watch it as much now, but now I'm like a Bon Appetit junkie. I'm a member of America's Test Kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Whenever I look up how to do something, I like to know why. So that's why I kind of helps it with the next thing. Okay, we're going to pour a little bit of that milk in.
We're pouring the milk in.
Just a little bit of the milk in, and keep going. A little more. You can tip it, but not all of it yet. A little more.
I mean, do you go to events at night?
Definitely have some events. Evenings is also when I work out. So after I work out, I don't want to do anything. Go ahead and add some more. You can do more. Probably all of it at this point. Yep. Perfect. I cook on the weekends. Actually, my brother used to live with 2 roommates, and I was friends with all their friends, and I used to cook family dinners and Thanksgivings and stuff. I like cooking for a crowd, because then I can cook more.
And do you network a lot? Do you go to a lot of events to meet new clients, to build relationships?
Yeah, so I've definitely gotten editorial referrals, which is one of my favorite things. That to me means I'm really doing my job right, which is exciting. And so I have a group of friends that are editors and PR people. We try to get together, we kind of let everyone know what we're up to. My editor friends are so important to me, because they are my inside track to what they like and don't like about what other brands are doing.
Right.
So I can always be sure to throw perfect events that they love, that I'm there for them. So they kind of make me a more thoughtful publicist, I think.
Because what are your thoughts on building relationships for people who are freelancing or starting their own businesses? I mean, it's a huge aspect of
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's how your name's going to get out there. I am always trying to look for fun things that editors want to go to, and hopefully new editors that I haven't met yet, so that I can kind of forge a relationship with them in that way. And then again, then they know the clients and they know brands that, I've definitely had some editors go, listen, I have this really cool brand, but they need help. They need PR help.
Right.
They're difficult to work with on the PR side, but I want more of them. And that's the kind of referral I love. That's really important to me. All right, we're going in with some of the mascarpone. In went Parmesan and Gruyere. I'm going to turn this way down because it's already nice and thick.
Oh my, it looks so good.
And then I'm adding a good bit of mascarpone.
Yum.
And that is going to keep it super creamy. And then in terms of spices, I like to add a little bit of mustard powder, and it gives this little kind of tang to it. And then the other one, which is a little weird, but not, is every time I cook with anything cream or dairy, I like to add nutmeg. And it definitely
brings out the flavor.
Yeah, it adds this flavor that people are like, ooh, what's that?
Cheese is ready.
Yes.
Now we're gonna pour it in.
Yes. So I will say I generally like to eat this mac and cheese straight from the oven. But before I did the competition, I was like, okay, there's an hour to get there. I gotta get there an hour early. I have to figure out a way to make this still creamy and delicious. So I actually coated the noodles with a little bit of oil, and that makes it so they don't absorb all of the sauce, and it stays gooey and noodly. And so that's one way the competition has changed my recipe, my everyday recipe.
Guys, you're getting the exclusive, an award-winning recipe here. So
award-winning $1 million mac and cheese.
All right,
okay, so this is going over, and I just want to get all of this sauce out, and then we'll mix it after.
Okay.
Because this is liquid gold, and we don't want to waste it. You want it to kind of steam in there a little, because you don't want to lose any of the sauce.
Okay, and I'll open it for you.
Awesome. Here we go.
Yay! All right. So now that
This is the best part.
Oh, look it. God, it's when you bake, it's the best part.
It's cheese sauce.
So has social media been a huge factor in your...
So social media is an ad, but cheaper. And so brands love the idea that you can pay someone or invite someone to something, and ultimately they know that you're looking for social coverage. Obviously, editorial is very different, and not only does the editor have to like the product, but it also has to beat out a million other products that could only fit on one page, or work in one story. So a lot of brands want to now spend activation money on influencers because when they make everything so beautiful, they want it to live on social media immediately. But they want to add editors into the fray to kind of double dip.
Right.
But editors don't really love influencers that much.
Oh, really?
And it's changing a little bit now that some editors have kind of have such a large following that they've become influencers in their own right. But I still find that a lot of those events are geared towards editorial, and they're kind of taken care of in different ways and provided different kind of information and items. And so it's been interesting navigating that, especially with brands. When I used to work with the big L'Oreal brands, it's we have one influencer event and one editor event, and that was fine. But
so you do two separate events.
Well, when you have the budget for it, but not necessarily with these brands that I'm working with now. So it's really about inviting editors on these influencer experiences, but then making a really tailored trip experience, something just a little more taken care of for the editors. And that's where I step in, and that's where my job is to kind of cultivate the story, but I do that by accompanying and hand-holding and, just giving the editors just a little bit of a different experience.
And where do you get your creativity, all the things you come up for events, for obviously your clients, just to make, they're all so different?
Yeah. They have to be different, especially if they're going to live on social. Honestly, I just am looking at what's happening around the city, what people are popping up, even what other people are doing for their events, and how we can change, do something similar or have that spark an idea. Sometimes there's so many events and brands that are vying for editors and influencers' attention, that sometimes it's just as simple as doing something that they want to do, you know, and really coming up with something that they haven't done before. So they look at the invite and they go, I cannot miss this. I want to go.
Is there one event that you've worked particularly on that you're like, oh my God, this is incredible?
Trips work really well. They're expensive, but you create like a friendship with these people because they're just people. So like imagine having a fun vacation with someone. They really indoctrinate that person into the brand in a way that you could not do like from 9 to 11 at a breakfast. Again, they're more expensive, but when you work with editors, there's an opportunity, especially some of these editors now that have anywhere from 2,000 to 100,000 followers. There's an opportunity for social and editorial coverage. And again, freelance editors are a great resource to tap for that because sometimes they can write similar story, you know, they can write about the same brand from multiple outlets with different angles. So those trips have generally been the friends that, you know, that I've made.
How do you balance personal life and business life, especially being your own boss? You're not, you know, having someone tell you what time to come in, what time to leave. You're your own person. So I know for me, and I'm sure everybody out there has such a hard time with that fine line, balancing everything.
So first of all, I generally schedule, if I have like a lot of things I need to do in a day in terms of like pitching or emailing people, I schedule them into my calendar at actual times. And then that way I can be doing anything, but I know that after an hour, like my phone's gonna remind me that I should be doing something else. So I'm not I'm not always on track. Like I don't always check everything off. But then like if I get off track at 1:30, I know at 2 o'clock it's gonna be like there's another thing you're supposed to be doing. So stop what you shouldn't be doing. Second of all, I can grocery shop at 11 a.m. when no one's in the supermarket, which is really
that sounds very
huge. You know, and so that kind of use of my time is nice. But at the same time, like sometimes I sit up in bed and start emailing at like 6:45, 7 in the morning.
What time do you normally like shut off? Is there a certain time that you are like, this is when I'm done, this is when my work day is?
I mean, I generally work out around 7, so that'll probably be like when I'm getting ready to work out, but I will answer, if an email comes in, I'm going to answer it. Like I'm pretty fast on my email. I'm an inbox zero person. I'm a zero red bubbles person.
That is me too.
A red bubble means that it's something I have to deal with. So like right now I have 2 emails that I have unread because I need to deal with it. Flagged could be different, but like, so I will, if it's something I can answer, I'll answer it. And if I'm like, that's too involved, I'll do it in the morning, but I'm not going to let stuff like that go too long.
And from starting your own business, I feel like a huge part of it is being independent. You have to be confident in front of these clients to prove your value and prove your worth compared to somebody else. Has it empowered you? Have you felt that your confidence has grown, or what has your road to self-confidence been like?
I mean, I think first of all, you know, in terms of any other job, it would make me super like client facing and executive facing. I mean, because I'm really already doing it for myself. But it was also a learning experience. I mean, there have definitely been times where when I first started doing this that I didn't properly communicate expectations and they were off with the client, and I learned the hard way. And now it's always a super clear conversation beforehand. There's a plan, there are target outlets, there are, you know, potential pitches, even though that can kind of completely range. But that means that if the client sees something that they don't love, or that they don't see something there that they were looking for, that we square that away way in the beginning. Sometimes it's the point where I'm saying, that outlet really isn't a fit for that story. Tell me, or tell me what you see them writing about, because it's not super clear to me. So that might be some of the conversation, but again, setting expectations has saved me more times than it hasn't.
And I know, if anyone knows you like I do, you are the most bubbly, outgoing, amazing person I know. Have you always been like that? Because that's another thing that people I feel like are always struggling with, and it carries into the business and whatever career path that you're going into.
Yeah.
Being confident, of being independent. Have you been like that always?
So my attitude is greatly affected by my mood. If I'm unhappy somewhere, it'll start to kind of grow stale. I remember when I was at Ted Baker, we made a questionable hire, and I was still the assistant at the time, or maybe even an associate, and this person we hired was above me, and I was really run down and unhappy, and my boss and I luckily were so close that she pulled me aside and was like, what is going on? And I was able to say, like, this person is making more work for me, and I am not handling it well. And she was gone, and I stayed, like, it definitely affects my mood, and it's nice when someone gives me the chance to explain, because then I will. But I have always been a communicator since I learned to talk, but my father would tell you that he was the one up with me at 3 a.m. when I was screaming at the top of my lungs. So I've always been a communicator. Thanks, Dad. Always been a communicator. That's why this career path made so much sense to me when the light bulb kind of went off. But having a smile on my face is so important. I turned 33 last week. And
happy birthday!
Thank you. Everybody thinks I'm 25.
You do look 25.
People have said that it's because I'm always smiling, because, no Botox yet, so that's part of it. But, I'm always smiling. I have, like, a lot of energy, and that I've actually taken that in from a lot of people this past week when they're, like, really shocked that I'm 33. Really, they're thinking I'm in my 20s, and it's because I'm always just like, okay, yeah, we can do that.
I know, you are always so positive. You always have a smile on your face.
I'll try anything twice.
And in this industry, it's hard, it's tough, especially starting and running a successful business. Yeah. So the fact that you continue to have that on is incredible, and I feel like that's what people need to focus on, is really being just confident in themselves. And exuding that, because people are going to take that. Yeah,
what I've learned is that cream rises to the top, and people like working with people that they like working with. That's the bottom line. And, if you do a good job and you're someone that people like to be around, then they'll come back. And I've learned that. I learned that before, and I learned that definitely out on my own when I'm the only person drawing people back. That's been really important. And it has made me realize I don't need to sweat the small stuff. Sometimes being freelance is a little like daunting because you're out on an island, and sometimes I'm pitching something and just getting nothing from it, and I'm like, is it me? Like, do I smell? What's going on? And then I'll connect with the one other person working on the account, and they're going, oh my god, me too. I don't know what's going on. No one's interested in this story, whatever. So there have definitely been some times where I've been able to validate, what's going on and what I'm thinking. But, you're on an island, and you just have to give everything the old college try and understand when it works and when it doesn't work, and walk away when it doesn't, or come up with like a new tactic. So.
And what makes you just stay eager, passionate, excited about what you're doing? Because you've been in this industry for a very long time.
Yeah, paying my rent is definitely, that's like huge.
That could definitely be a plus.
I'd like to keep doing that. New products, new clients. I'm sorry, but like my wardrobe is consisted of, I'm wearing ATP Atelier shoes,
They're
which
very
is one of my
cute.
clients.
Love those shoes.
Amazing sunglass brand, Haze Collection, that I've worked with. I've worked with brands like Sue Studio and celebrities like Vanessa Hudgens. Again, I mentioned Gigi Hadid, so huge names too. What's next? And I think about that all the time. This year I went with one of my clients to Revolve Festival.
How was that?
Which was amazing.
Probably incredible.
Yeah, and ended up, being the kind of liaison person for the co-founder of BFA, which just meant we were in everybody's face for every photo that nobody else could get. And, below the stage while Cardi B is like surprising us with a performance. And
Incredible.
When you think about those things that I've been able to do in the last 2 years, freelancing, and not even with massive brands behind me, well, Revolve is pretty massive, but that the thing that keeps me going forward is that I have literally no clue what's next. And it hasn't been bad so far, so.
So for someone who's starting to freelance and might not have like the experience or the clients from a different company going into
Right.
it, what advice would you give to them
Right.
to kind of just go after it? Because
Yeah.
it is nerve-wracking not knowing your next step or
Right.
what's going to happen.
Right. So I did not work with any clients that I had previously worked with at my old agency, but of course, like editorial relationships that I had made that I took with me. But I will say I was in a position that where I chose to leave and freelance, and I took a while to do it, and I really got my ducks in a row beforehand. I gave my old agency about 5 or 6 weeks notice, so I was able to sign enough clients to pay my rent, pay everything I needed, and that made it a lot easier to switch, because I was like, okay, well, at least for the next month, I've got my rent paid. So let's see how it goes from there. I have a supportive family and friends who basically just looked at me and went, just do it. Just do it. Who cares? Just do it. You're 30 years old, you got no kids, just do it. And so definitely like think about it, don't just quit your job and go looking for clients. Right. There is a way to look for clients, give notice, do those things kind of simultaneously, be methodical about it, definitely, because it seems impulsive, but it absolutely was not.
Is there someone who empowers you or something that empowers you in your life?
Yes, absolutely. Well, everything I choose to be around empowers me, or I just don't. My family is amazing. My mom always believed in me wanting to move to New York, always saw this vision of me working in this industry. She got it from the very beginning. My brother just being here and being one of my best friends is so important because I'm not home.
Right.
I have an old colleague. Her name is Misty Gant. She's one of the people I was talking about when I said I had the opportunity to kind of build a department around myself at Ted Baker. She was and is like a mentor to me, and actually 2 of the clients I started with when I left my agency and I still work with now came from referrals from her. So she's not only like supported me as a mentor, but like literally has supported me. And having friends like that is like amazing, and I'm lucky, but it's also like I don't know how I would have done it without like those intros who then led me to other things and other people. I've never really I've pitched clients that were already interested in working with me, and some I've won and some I haven't, but I've never really cold pitched a client. They've all spidered off from relationships, and that all started with my friend Misty, who believed in me and sent me those 2 people that still work with me to this day. So I literally could not have done it without her.
It's not all you need is one person to believe in you.
Totally.
To go out and have the just confidence to go out on your own like you did. Or anyone else out there to try and start their own business. Right.
And she came up with me in PR and marketing, but is in an adjacent industry, actually in influencer campaigns and such. And so we're not overlapping, but we're very complementary in terms of professional friendships. So it's just been very cool and lucky, and I'm a relationship person. I make relationships and I meet people, and that's how, you get ahead and keep going.
And in the fashion industry, I mean,
it's all you have. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly. And not everyone is like that nice in this industry, and there are some people at the top who are not that nice, and I haven't had to work with them more than I've wanted to, which is great. This is such a weird thing to say, I guess, but like I've felt this from experience, but like I have a way with difficult people sometimes too, and I'm a little bit able to like make them laugh and like let their guard down a little, and so it's been also helpful because I've been able to like sometimes bend the ear of those people, or at least just be someone that they enjoy having in the room, which has served me well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have like a personal style that like you feel most confident in? I mean,
I'm a t-shirt and jeans. I love, my biggest thing is, I don't have the perfect body. It's not bad, but it's not perfect. And I just love to make my body look good. And I can be a little bit of a chameleon with my style, but when like my body looks good, people are like, you look amazing. I love that outfit. It's so important. I think my mom taught me that. She always used to say, you know, it could be a burlap sack as long as it's tailored perfectly, it's gonna look amazing. And I should probably do more tailoring in my life, but that's all. Like, there's never, if I ever go into a store and I want to try a specific style, and if it doesn't work, like, I'm not forcing anything. Like, if it doesn't look good on my body, it's not my style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
Totally. You just have to dress. You got. Hey, it's what you got. So
exactly.
you gotta work with what you got.
Exactly. I'm so ready.
Okay.
Guys, if you could smell this, you would.
Guys, $1 million mac and cheese.
Looks incredible. I'm so excited to try it. We're gonna dig right in.
We're definitely digging right in.
Okay. This is for you.
Okay. This is the money bite. So this is for you, actually. The corner.
Oh my god.
Creamy and crunchy.
Look at that. All right. That's for you.
Everyone always fights over the edges, so I like to do a shallow pan so that you get a lot of crispy top.
So I'm the lucky one who gets
You got the corner.
piece.
You got the corner.
So before we take a bite of this, I just want to get any last minute tips, advice you have for someone who's starting out, wanting to break into the industry, start their own business, and overall just be a confident person like you are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, if there's any part of you that wants to break off and work on your own, it's because you know you can do it and you have a vision for it. There's something inside that's telling you, like, I can do this, I'll be fine. I, have ways to make money, to pay my rent, to make this work. And I would just say, believe yourself and just do it. You can always go back and try to find a job. You can always, spin this experience into something amazing. But you should definitely take the leap.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are ready to taste this. I'm so excited. It smells amazing. Here's the first bite. So good.
It's good, right?
That is incredible. No wonder why it's first place award winning.
Award-winning $1 million.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you guys learned a lot from Mimi.
And how to make mac and cheese.
Yes, definitely. I had so much fun making mac and cheese with you. I'm ready for the next recipe.
I love cooking with you. We're going to make cookies next.
Yes, definitely. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys feel empowered, learn a little bit more about the industry, and always remember, confidence is always in style. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kitchen Talk with Sam. For the full recipe, visit @Confidence in Style on Instagram and stay connected with Mimi @MRI Levine on Instagram and mimi-levine.com. I'll see you guys on the next one.